Let's be having you, Therapy Army. Let's be having you. Good evening, Therapy Army. Big up to every one of you who will join us tonight. Did a Pele 1 hour tribute. Had a special guest on there tonight. Franco is a DJ and a musician from Rio. Saw Pele in the flesh 4 or 5 times, and he gave us a little bit of lowdown on what's going on, what he thought about Pele. It broke it down for us. So to get somebody who actually saw Pele play when they were a kid was incredible, and he gave us some incredible insight. So please make sure you go and check out that podcast. 1.5 hour special tribute to Pele. But Tom, big up Therapy Army. We've got an absolute jam-packed show for you tonight, people. Big up Tom. Tom, how are you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah. Evening. How will do?
Yeah. It's been an absolute comical one tonight in the last 48 hours. Last time I went live, I think, was a couple of days ago, and absolutely is crazy. It's absolutely crazy the amount of jokes that are going on. A lot of people thought, if you listen to Twitter, you thought Maguire already signed for Aston Villa. And then people are talking about Weghorst like he's the greatest striker in the world. And basically, I'm here to disprove them tonight, because if he was the first choice of Ten Hag, he would be at the club already. If Weghorst was Ten Hag's first choice, he would have been at the club already. Manchester United, again, late in the day, scrambling around for the club that they are, literally scrambling around to try to see what the cheapest option is out there, and that's what we're getting. So for me, I've got nothing against Weghorst. I just think that I prefer Abubakar or Giroud in terms of 6 months loans. I would prefer those guys because I've seen more about those guys than I've seen of Weghorst. I don't know too much about Weghorst, but that's just me personally. And then obviously we're going to be talking about this supposed sale and the supposed wages cap as well. So we've got a jump-packed show for you tonight, people. Come on in, people. Come on in. Big up to every one of you. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. Big up Claire. Big up Todd. Big up Oppo, Natalie, Alien Tenno, all of you in the house. It is a fascinating 48 hours in terms of Manchester United news, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So big up to every one of you. But Tom, how you doing? How's your weekend? Do you have a good weekend?
Yeah. Brilliant weekend. Spent some time with family and stuff, which I haven't been able to do for a couple of months and stuff. And I had some good news with my friend anyway. With obviously what I told you and stuff. He's out of critical care anyway, and he's doing well. So love to him anyway. But the world that we live in, I mean, wow. You will honestly, I spoke to him the day before, and not even the day before, I actually spoke to him on that day when he actually came to my house and visited my family and everything. He went home and then he went to a bar for a drink, walks outside, and that happens. I mean, how your life can just change in the flash of a moment. I mean, wow. It's crazy. I don't want to get into everything, but at least he's doing good and everything. That's all I'm bothered about. But
listen, we can only pray for your friend, man. We hope that he makes a full recovery, but we understand that we're happy that he's out of danger at least. You know what I mean? Yeah. So big up to Tom. Big up to his friend. Hope that he's out of danger. But it's crazy world, people. Please be careful out there in these streets, man. It's crazy what's happening. The country's all gone. Honestly, it's all gone berserk. It's all gone. Honestly, I'm telling you, the whole country, or maybe the world. This country's gone doolally, Tom. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gone doolally. It's crazy what's happening in the streets, man. So big up to every one of you people. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, like I said. And we're wishing Tom's friend, one of Tom's best friends, we're wishing him well. And I hope that he makes a fantastic recovery. We're sending him all universal healing vibes, and we're all praying for him as well. We're praying for a lot of people because my neighbor's in hospital. Luckily, she's out of danger. But yeah, we're just all
love to her.
Yeah, hope and pray. Hope and pray, FC. There we are. That's what we are, man. Hope and pray. And actually, we've got to pray for a hope for Man United as well, Tom, while we're there. Because, honestly, talk to me about this Maguire, please. Just talk to me. This idea, this is what people, yeah? Maguire is not going to leave. Do you think Maguire is going to just leave like that, except lower. We're going to know about it before he leaves. Aston Villa are not going to give Maguire 200 million pounds a week. Sorry, £200,000 a week. They're not going to do that. No club is going to give him. That's why Maguire is like, I'm here. I'm part of the squad, mate. Unless he genuinely wants to play football, just because he was seen in playing golf in the area close to in Birmingham, close to Aston area close to Aston. Like, it's absolute crazy. But that is laughable, literally laughable. And I just think, please, guys, why do you get clickbaited? Why do you allow yourself to get clickbaited? If Maguire's leaving, we're gonna know more about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna know straight away. That's what we're going to do. Big up Logan, by the way. Logan, I just want to concentrate on what Franco was saying other than the comments, because we brought him in as a special guest, but big up to you, brother. Love and light, no disrespect to you at all whatsoever. Big up Logan, Chief United Real Therapy reporter, mate. Big up. We'll get to hold to, I'm gonna start them, but hold the Richard Arnold quotes, because some of them are the most funniest things ever. Please get the Myrtle ones as well if you can. That'll be amazing. But first of all, Tom, this Maguire Villa, I mean, how laughable is this that the fan base can be had just like that?
But yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, they're that desperate for players to leave, aren't they? And I don't know what would have been worse, a Maguire one coming out, or you'd have had Phil Jones quote coming out for him to go to Aston Villa. I mean, it's laughable, isn't it? From what I understand, anyway, he went in and around the Birmingham area with his family and friends to go play a round of golf today. That's from what I've heard, anyway. But then they stopped off at the restaurant, which is where him and his family's been pictured at. But does it mean anything? No, it doesn't. At the end of the day, and I think even if Harry Maguire was to go, it's not a deal. Even at the end of the day, it's not an easy deal to do. People will think, oh, it's Harry Maguire. He's said plus the requirements by Ten Hag and Man United, but he's an England international. He makes it into the England squad every single, squad appearance, team appearance, and everything. So there's got to be something there that a manager sees, such as Gareth Southgate, sees in him to keep picking him for the England squad. You have an England international, that's a prized asset. To have a player who can break into a national squad is a prized asset to have. And Man United would use that a lot easier and a lot better than what they would do. But even with Aston Villa, I mean, I don't think he's the Unai Emery kind of profiled centre-back that he would want. He's not mobile with his feet. He can't play these long-range 40, 50-yard passes that he wants out to wide players to get up the field. All he would bring is carrying the ball out. That's all he would bring. But they're not going to pay him, like you said, 200k. They'd probably even want to reduce that with some of the high earners that they've got at the football club already. I mean, I don't even think they paid Jack Grealish about 200k. I think they paid him about 100 or 150k when he was at Aston Villa. And he was their superstar player and their star boy. But that completely goes out the window anyway. But it's irrelevant with the Harry Maguire thing. And if I'm being honest, I can't see him being sold for the entirety of this window. It's a longevity of a deal to do. And I think it's clear that there is clubs that would be interested in Maguire based on the fact of he does have his perks. But for Manchester United, those perks are not what they need right now. But for another club, like such as Aston Villa, for example, they could utilise him better than we can. That's just what I'm saying anyway. But I don't think the style or the system would suit him at Aston Villa under Unai Emery. Not for me, personally anyway. I think you should go, if honestly, if I had to be truthful and honest, I'd go back. If they would take me back, I would go back to Leicester. And I'll be truthful and honest in saying that, because I think that system, the five at the back, the security that you have in midfield when you have such as Ndidi, Tillemans, like, it just fitted him at that time. But you've even brought in that protection with Casemiro that people have always said, if you bring in a CDM, they can protect Maguire. They can do the legwork for him. They can do the movement. Well, you play Casemiro in with Maguire. And Casemiro covers his arse, yes. But what does Maguire then do? Nothing. And then he has a lackadaisical moment and suddenly another team scores. But that's just the moment that we live in, isn't it? But yeah, even such as with this Weghorst deal and stuff. I mean, it's just come from nowhere, hasn't it? This.
Yeah,
We didn't even know about this from last week. Let's be honest. We didn't know about Maguire, Weghorst, none of it.
No, big up. So the thing of it, we have to put that to death. I just want people to think and just think logically, regardless what's trending on Twitter. You have to think logically. You have to think logically and think, why am I getting clickbaited? I have to always think about that. Like, yeah, big up. By the way, this is news. Big up Alien Tenno. So we got ready in the FA Cup yet. We got a home tie. To me, I always back United against anybody in the cup. A home tie. So we got a home tie against Reading. And also, those of you who don't know, Manchester United are going to be playing. We thought we're going to have about 5 days off between games, between when we play this Saturday coming up, when we play Arsenal. Sorry, when we play City in the derby, it's Saturday 12:30. And we thought we're going to have 6 or 7 days, but unfortunately we don't, because Crystal Palace, we're playing Crystal Palace on the 18th. So for those who don't know, we're going to be playing that fixture that was cancelled.
You're basically playing City, Palace, and Arsenal in 8 days, pretty much.
So yeah, we're playing Tuesday. On Tuesday, we've got I'll just
Charlton.
let the people know the fixtures. Yeah, Charlton on Tuesday.
And then the EFL, yeah.
We've got City at home, and then on Wednesday the 18th we've got Crystal Palace away, and then Arsenal away. Then it's the FA Cup that Saturday, the 28th of January, 3:00, Reading at Old Trafford. 4th round. So that's where it is. And then it's funny, after that, Saturday, the 4th of February, we're playing Crystal Palace at home. Saturday, 3:00. That's the 3:00 game. And then Leeds away on the 12th, which is a Sunday. So we've got a bit of a week there. We do have a bit of a week there, which is in that week so far anyway. So far. So we've got a bit of a week in that sense. But yeah, we're playing Crystal Palace, and then 2 days later, no, actually, we're playing Crystal Palace on a Wednesday, and then we play Arsenal, then Reading, then Crystal Palace again, which is a very interesting thing. But I just want to quickly get into this Weghorst thing, people. I want to get into this Weghorst, right? How many of you want Weghorst? My opinion is this, just the way the club works, me personally, this is my own opinion, right? My own opinion is that Manchester United are going around now begging with a begging bowl, going, we don't want to spend too much money. We don't want to. I wanted to get there, Richard. If you can, Logan, can you please get me the John Murta quotes, please? So this is John Murta. So basically, they're making it out like this is like laughable, the absolute laughable. John Murta. It's no secret that we're looking for a new centre forward. This is by the way, this is the GM meeting, the quarterly meeting. This was in December, and now the quotes have been released today, right? Couple of early hours, well, about 4 or 5 hours ago on Twitter, I saw these quotes. So just to give you a context, guys, Manchester United had the quarterly meeting, like they always have to do for the shareholders, and this is what they say. I don't usually really don't like, because it's all PR. All of it is PR. They're not talking to fans. They're talking to the shareholders. Mainly, people think this is for the fans. This is for shareholders mainly, and the people who have got shares in Manchester. So the information is the most polished, company, one-sided thing you'll ever see in your lives, right? But John Mayer says, it's no secret we're looking for a new centre forward. We'll see what's possible in January. But as Eric Ten Hag said, we don't want to come come only players who are good enough. Okay, let me read this slowly again. It's no secret we're looking for a centre forward. We'll see what's possible in January. But as Eric Ten Hag said, we don't want to do what we don't want to do is get, I think, any. We don't want to do who are good enough. So basically saying that.
Basically players who aren't good enough. Yeah.
The players who are good enough. So we don't want anybody. We only want players who are good enough. Okay. So if let's say if that was the truth, right? If that was the truth, I'm not going to lie. If that was the truth, right, from the club, is for it to understand, this is in December, yeah? So Eric Ten Hag in December says, we only want players who are good enough, right? Logan, can you find any other quotes from, I don't want to hear about what Richard Arnold said. I want to hear, I want to hear from what John Murtagh's quotes. Richard Arnold, I'm not really, I asked about what he says. He's a clown anyway. But John Murtagh is a director of football. He's a director of football, so I want to hear from him. So if you don't mind, yeah, Sean Thomas, yeah, you want to jump on, bro? No problem. Get you on here. Let me post this in here. Jump on, bro. Come on, give the different side. If you can get that for me, because if my humble opinion, Tom, and to you, Army, if Weghorst was Manchester United's first choice for him to become a loan, so the player is owned by Burnley, he is on loan. Burnley are in the Championship, and he's on loan to Besiktas in Turkey. I'm sorry, I butchered the name.
Besiktas.
Yeah, Besiktas. That's what he's on loan. So if now what the journalists and everybody around United, what Neil Ashton's doing, if you want to believe that he's the guy that Man United want, right? Why we will link with all these other guys, right, to begin with, and why are Man United still till now by reputable, briefed journalists by the club are linked with one of you have got me on in the background. Please turn me off. One of you have got me on, so please turn it off. But we're linked. We're still with Phoenix, right? And for my humble opinion, the way that Eric Ten Hag wanted to have this in this transfer, the amount of games that we're going to play, this would have been sorted out. We would not be left in the second week of January, where now it's coming out, it's almost mid-January now, where all of a sudden, from nowhere, Weghorst is the guy that we want. Nah, I'm not buying it. If he was Eric Ten Hag's first choice, he would have been here already. It's not going to cost, it's complicated. Some of you can say yes, because all they have to do is speak to Burnley. But this guy's, to me, the player belongs to who? It belongs to Burnley, not Batiskas. He belongs to Burnley.
No. You're getting confused already. You're confusing us all. You mean the player belongs to Burnley, meaning Weghorst?
Yeah, belongs. That's what I'm saying. He belongs to Burnley. He doesn't belong to Batiskas. He's on loan. Let me finish. Let me get the context right. Yeah. He's on loan to Besiktas. Now, journalists are coming out saying, "Ooh, this can be complicated." Why is it complicated?
No, but it does make it complicated now because Besiktas now has to agree to release Weghorst from his.
They're happy to agree, but they want compensation. That's why.
Yeah. Well, the point is this. The point is simple. That is why I know he is not Eric Ten Hag's first choice. Point I'm making exactly. The player belongs to Burnley. Burnley sent him alone to Besiktas, and then now Manchester United apparently want him. So Man United are saying they're not going to pay the £10 million, right? £10 million that they're going to for Felix. First it was 20 million. Now apparently it's 10 million and maybe a guaranteed 70 million in the summer. If you want to buy the player, there's an option now to buy the player. That's what the latest reports are saying, right? So for me, it shows me Weghorst is somebody that they pulled out of their ass. I thought, oh, that guy maybe can hold up the ball. Oh yeah, but where is he? He's at Besiktas.
I don't know if I'll say it's quite that now. They probably had him on the list. Maybe he was third or fourth on the list, like you're saying. But it's not the worst thing in the world to not get your first choice.
No, listen, it's not. At the end of the day, Man United are looking for loanee guys. And I said, I put it out there to people, and I've said it. I said it from the beginning. I have not watched this player. I don't know anything about him, right? In terms of, I've seen him play for Burnley, and I thought, yeah, the guy works hard. And I knew that, other than in the game where they were desperate, I've watched most games in for Holland, and they only brought him on when they were going to get knocked out, and they completely went anti-Holland football. And that's the only time that I've seen him. I watched him against Man United when we played Burnley, when we drew, I think we drew 1-1. Or did we draw? Or did we win that game?
No, I think we won, but
We won. I think we won there again.
We won like 2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was involved in the goal because
he set up a goal. Okay.
he set
I
up a
don't know
goal. Yeah.
about the play. But I know Manchester United have been asking about other players and Depay. I told people about Depay for a long time. That
Depay was a no from me.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I'm saying to you. That's you. And actually, maybe some United fans don't want him, and some United fans agree with you, Sean. There's Felix. There was Thuram. There's Abubakar, by the way, because now apparently Abubakar is saying that maybe he wants to go because he knows that he's not going to be able to, because Ronaldo's going to be playing for Al Nassr. What he said to be said. So I put these other suggestions. So this idea, I want United fans to understand, he was never the first or the second or the third choice. Man United are doing what they did last summer when they panicked when we got busted by Brentford. And I'm telling you now, Anthony is not here. Casemiro is not here. If Man United beat Brighton and beat Palace, Sean, can you turn me off, please? You've got me on. You've got me on somewhere. Can you turn me on? Can you turn me off? Irfan as well. If you can just check if you got a window open, can you turn me off?
I'll check.
I just want to go to you quickly, Irfan. What do you know about Weghorst? Do you want a player like Weghorst? I've done a little
Weghorst, yeah.
Well, that's what I call him, Weghorst. That's just how
Weghorst, yeah.
Does he have a first name?
Yeah.
I forgot what his first name is.
I've done a bit of I've just looked at a couple of scouting sites that are looking about his stats. Scout sites, and in terms of pressing, he's quite impressive. He is a hard worker. He grafts. He's not a goal scorer that scores frequent, but his main thing is what he offers to the team. To be fair to him, is his all-round play. He's not particularly amazing in the air, but he's got decent feet on the floor, right? And his most successful period was when he was in Germany.
So okay, this is I saw him nerding. I remember I know a couple of people who support Burnley, and I just saw his name and I was wondering where did Burnley get him from again?
Wolfsburg.
Burnley signed him from Wolfsburg.
They got from Wolfsburg, yeah. Okay, so look,
it might be Wolfsburg. Yeah. I just want to check.
And I've seen a few clips that have come up on my feed since, right? Now I'm with you all the way, nerding. What you're saying, and dare I use the word speculating, is common sense. Because a lot of people are saying that's negative, that this and that, or why are you down on this and that, yeah? That's your opinion. But your opinion, how I see it, is fully grounded in this joke club, this board that runs the club joke, right? Because like I said, you're right. If we wanted this guy months ago, we would have had him by now, okay? Because he wasn't a complicated deal to get through, okay? Because they're panicking, I'm with you all the way, because they don't know their ass from their toe. They don't know anything. They haven't got a clue, these guys. They're just completely clueless. So some people are getting excited. Oh, we'll play this and that. And like I said, I'm with you, Nerdin. I'm not buying this at the end of the day. But having looked at him, now, do you think Ten Hag would take this guy or not? I don't think he'd take him if he was completely useless. But I will say, we don't have a player like this guy. No matter how good or bad he is, he's a big presence. He can play with both feet. He can head the ball. He's not particularly mobile, but he's not slow either. He's not a slouch. He's a tricky one because I'm like you. I'm so beaten up by this joke of a club behind the scenes that when somebody comes along, I mean, look, we got Igalo, and I didn't know what to make of him, but I'm glad he got the game because I know he loved Man United and he wanted to play for Man United. This guy, I'm not sure about, but it's the sign of where we are now, and it's the sign, the fact that these bastards are still in the club. They're still here.
But friend,
all this bullshit. Do more of it.
But friend, I think what you're saying is that like it's the type of profile that we're looking for. We don't have a player like this, and for me, I'll go further than you and say I made my decision that I was okay with this even before I saw clips of him play, because. And that's why I said I wasn't.
You're being I get you. You're being very practical about it. I get you. If I wasn't a United fan talking about Man United, I might agree with you. I might say, fair enough, you're right, brother. We do need a kind of play. But It's the fact that we should be getting better than this. We should be getting like elite level guys that that's what we should be getting.
Like who? Give me an example of somebody we could sign in January that would fulfill our need. Given that, like, you agree with me that our need is for number 9 of the profile that you described. Who could we sign right now in January?
I've asked Nurin about this a few times. I don't know if there's a guy available on loan that we could get. I don't know if there is.
It's dry.
Exactly.
So right now we take dry. There is no.
Right now we take a body.
No name out there that sticks.
No, a lot of people.
Hang on, Nurin. Can I just make one point before you come back in? I'm just saying. No, I agree. Look, I agree. Look, I'm not saying, oh no, get away from this guy, run away from the club. I'm just saying that, look, this is a situation where every time like we need to buy somebody or get someone on loan, it's like as we're being stripped naked again, and people can see the joke club that we are. They can see it. So I'm just saying, look, I was at the Everton game. I'm not being funny. Every 10 minutes, the whole club sang "We Want Glazers Out." It happened every 10 minutes through that game, and I'd obviously heard about it, but being there to hear it showed me that there's still deep hatred for these bloodsuckers that run the club. So when this conversation comes up of buying a player, it's a trauma. It's like the knife is out and it's in again. So I am coming at it from that perspective, and I think Nuruddin's coming from a similar perspective, as that we're not a properly run club. And every time something comes up, it reveals that I've got this dodgy ownership and poisonous people running the club. So that's all I'm saying about it. That's the background to it.
I would challenge that. Like some of the decisions that have been made recently, backing Ten Hag in Ten Hag versus Ronaldo. Some of the decisions to not spend as much money as we would have on gamble players, like paying the fee for João Felix, like some fans would have been ridiculous. I think in some instances, like refusing to pay 37 million for Cody Gakpo, that was a bit too much. That was a bit too much on the Scrooge McDuck side. But like, I think some of these decisions signal that, like, the Glazers finally and agreeing to sell the club. They're having some serious discussions now. Some of that, I think, signals management that even if they have been crap since, are finally trying to get shit done. And the most important thing that we should all trust is in Ten Hag. And if he's sanctioning the signing of Weghorst, I'm fine with him coming. And we should think about it practically too. Like, who are we going to sign? Nobody could come up with a player now, but we're angry that we're signing someone. Like, if there was someone out there that we missed out on specifically, let's hear the name.
Sean, I'm not
okay.
angry.
No, I get that. Okay, go on, Nuruddin.
Sean, I'm not angry. By the way, big up Alien Ten says, if United get top 4 with a squad and the punishing schedule we have, Erik Ten Hag is a magic man and it's possible, right? So big up Alien 10. I'm not angry. The fact that what I'm trying to tell people is that this is Man United panicking again. Like, this is not Manchester United have known. I'm gonna tell everybody. Manchester United have known, right, since May that Ronaldo wanted to leave. At the end of May is when we heard Ronaldo saying, "I don't want to stay at this squad. I want Man United to go out." Right. So this idea that a newly hired manager, a 37-year-old, that a club that hired Erik Ten Hag were ever going to side with Ronaldo, I'm sorry, brother. Nobody in Europe or in world football, right? Nobody in Europe wanted to take Ronaldo. Nobody. He told his agent told the whole world, and he literally embarrassed himself. And apparently, him and his agent are broke up because of that. Because Ronaldo lives in a delusion.
Ronaldo is a joker.
What, Jorge Mendes, Frank?
Yeah,
he's not his agent anymore.
That's
wow. You don't need an agent
because of the Piers Morgan.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. So anyway, so this idea for me is ludicrous because no club in their right mind would ever side with a has-been. Ronaldo has been. That's what he is. It comes to those. He's one of the greatest players of all time, 100%. But it's towards the end of his career and the way he was acting. And after that interview, that you could ever come back, I went straight live and I told everybody. I did a watch-alongs in the. I told everybody, and people on here were telling me, "No, Ronaldo will be back. Don't worry, they're gonna patch it up and they're gonna."
No, but Nuruddin, I'll challenge you a bit somewhat to say that I think the Glazers backing Ten Hag is what led to Ronaldo having to give that interview. I don't think that interview happens under Ole because Ole didn't have the balls to drop Ronaldo when he should have. Ten Hag did, and Ten Hag was backed by the ownership of the club. A decision was made to allow the manager to manage the club the way he wants to. I would also argue that, like, I think this is the opposite of panicking. Panicking would have been paying exactly what PSV demanded for Cody Gakpo. Even though he's not the number nine, even though he's not the number 9 of exactly, Panicking would have been paying 20 million for 6 months for João Felix. I think this is the club making a measured, conscious decision to sign a body to get us by between now and the end of the season, where we can make an informed decision on who the next number 9 is going to be.
We did a show about that. I did it. If you can go and look back at that, I said that's the most ridiculous. I said we might as well go and get Moukoko from Dortmund. That'll cost exactly the same money, and we could have him for a couple of years, 3-4 years, right? So you suffer Moukoko, go and get Yusufa Moukoko, and we can have him for years. Big up Arun as well. Big up Arun. Big up everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. The biggest thing I want to make is this: Weghorst was never number 1, number 2, or 3. He was not on any list. He was not on any list because the United, I'll tell you the people who are on the list: Felix, Depay, Cody Gakpo. These people are on the list. Those 3 players were on the list. Thuram, they're on the list. Weghorst was not a guy that's on the list because you've got Neil Ashton people literally briefing that, like some Einstein, Fabrizio Romano's of this world, Laurie Whitwell's of this world, Samuel Racers Locke's of this world. That is what we get, right? So this idea Weghorst, so we're not angry. To me, I have not watched him. The only thing from a scouting, couple of scouting websites that I looked at it and thought, okay, he's pressing. He's got quite impressive pressing ranges. He's 30 years old. His most successful period was in German football, and transition is a lot in German football even back then, and where he scored 70 goals in 144 games. And then he was signed by Burnley in January 2022 for a fee of 12 million. So that is what I know about work. That's all I think I know about. He's quite, for a big guy, he's good at pressing. He's got a lot of energy. He's good at pressing. He can hold up the plate. He's got decent feet. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't even pay attention to him.
So Nuruddin, of the list of players you mentioned, who would you have taken? Like of Depay? Who I want? Abubakar. Because Abubakar was a guy who played at higher level, banging in goals. I saw him in the African Nations Cup, banging in goals. I saw him in the Champions League with Porto, banging in goals. And he's the same age, but he went to Saudi Arabia for money, obviously. He didn't go to Saudi Arabian League because he loves the Saudi Arabian football. He went there for the money, just like what Ronaldo's doing, what a lot of people's heroes is doing. So,
wait. His name is Abu Bakr. All right, I've got a lot of friends with the same name. It's not Abu Bakr, it's Abu Bakr. All English people call him that. No, let's get his name right. Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr. That's the name. That's how you pronounce it. I've got a lot of friends with the same name from Mali, Guinea, Gambia, Senegal. I know a lot of people. I just want to get that right. Okay.
It's the way he spells his name.
No, I don't spell. I've got records with the same name on. It's Abu Bakr.
It's not. It's B-O-U.
No, there's only one name. I know it's a Muslim name. I know it's a West Muslim name.
It's not Abu Bakr.
It's not. But it's Abu Bakr. It's Arabic word.
Can you just be quiet 1 second, please?
All right. I just want to get it out of the way.
Just be quiet 1 second, so let me finish. What the hell? My cousin's called Abu Bakr. It's spelled with A-B-U-B-A-K-A-R.
That's right.
His name is Vincent Abu. It's B-O-U. That's the difference, mate. What are you on about?
I was having the same debate with somebody last week. Okay, I have a debate with somebody last week who's from my country.
Listen, my name's Nuruddin. In English, it's spelled N-U-R-A-D-I-N. In France, it's Nordin. N-O. And it's the same name.
It's the same name. That's what I'm not trying to make it. It's the same. The pronunciation is different. It's the same name.
Regardless of his name,
we're getting deflected. All right, listen. Sorry. I should have said.
What you're talking about.
All right.
Regardless of his name, we don't want him.
All right. Okay.
I don't want him at United, and I don't think Ten Hag wanted him either. I think Ten Hag made a decision to bring somebody who he's more familiar with, a Dutch player who has played and come up in his type of system that he
So what, we're going to
understands.
have all the Dutch players? Is that what we're having?
No, we're not. No, we're not going to have all Dutch
Let me
players.
finish.
No.
Listen, I want to bring other people in. So Arun, apparently Man United can only sign you if you're Dutch. Do you agree?
No, that's not the rule. No.
Oh, hang on. Let him have his fun. Go on, Arun, answer. Let's go. Let's hear a voice of reason. Go on.
No.
No,
Good evening, all. Happy New Year to all. Thanks for having me.
Happy New Year, bro.
Thank you. But I understand that. See, I wouldn't mind Abubakar as well, to be honest. Really, because he's also a different profile. He's athletic, fast. Same reasons I also don't mind Weghorst, because a manager knows him well personally, I guess. So that's why I'm okay with it. I'm seeing the positive sides why they're signing him rather than what could have been. You all know me. I'm still on that Harry Kane train. I think Harry Kane
Wow.
was born to play for us, and I think we can sign anyone we want. We can sign Abubakar, Felix for 6 months, but we need to sign Harry Kane in the summer. That's for sure. And last 10, he's known for Plan B as a striker who is known for Plan B. Louis van Gaal ignored his total football against Argentina in the last 10 minutes and played him as centre forward, and they scored 2. Sad that they didn't continue with the same pace in extra time. They switched back to total football, and that's how it went to penalties. This guy have played in Premier League, can bully defenders, can be used in defensive set piece and offensive set piece. Will work hard at least. Will run more than Martial in my opinion. So I'm not happy with him being the first choice, but I'm content with him being the last 10 minutes player, being the Fellaini. I know it's same old,
exactly what we need.
But the manager I trust the manager. I don't trust the club. Same old Richard Arnold, same old Murto. Those quotes are quite embarrassing again. But happy with the manager and the team, and the fact that we're not debating over stupid matters. We're debating over the quality of the club, like how we go to next level. Previously, we debated why they're not running. Now we're debating how to go to the next level, which is a much better progress in the last year, I guess.
I just want to bring Tom in as well. Tom, what do you think about the Weghorst? And would you want Weghorst? Do you think he's a good option? Or do you think he was Ten Hag's first choice, second or third choice?
I think he was one of Ten Hag's choices. Do I think he was on the club's radar? Absolutely not. I think this has come solely from Erik Ten Hag, because the club, as we know, with their recruitment strategy, have not got a clue. He probably went to John Murto, Darren Fletcher, and said, right, what finances do we have to bring in a striker in January? They've said, well, the club's partially on the for sale signs on the club, so we're not got any funding to buy anybody. We're going to have to look at the loan market. You look at the loan market out there, right, we've got a couple of options. You've got Memphis Depay, who is washed up at Barcelona already, and you've already tried him before, and it's not worked at Manchester United, and he's already left before.
Also, not a striker.
Yeah, you've also got such as, but you've got the market out there, Marcus Thuram, Abubakar. You've got all these players and all these deals, but do Manchester United really operate in that market and look for these kind of players? No, they don't. They normally look to buy people, not loan. And this is the problem. The market that we're in, you haven't got a vast range of players. And this is why with the João Felix deal, he will not come to Manchester United, because they want a guarantee that regardless if he does well or not, you will buy him for 70.5 million. Manchester United don't even know who the owner is going to be in the summer. They might not want to fork out £70 million on a player. That's the regime that you have, and the problem that you have there. With Weghorst as a player, personally for me, I'd rather have somebody of that profile striker, because we don't have them, than have nobody at all. And I know we've had the comparisons, and we've had the mediocrity on Twitter of, is the Dutch Peter Crouch, and this, that, the other is a revert of Cavani and all this and that. But I saw a couple of years ago, he was banging him in at Wolfsburg. Easily, he was one of the top players in that league. You take his pressing stats from this season with Besiktas and from the World Cup, and you put them to all of the players in the Premier League, he is the highest pressing player. And with the style of football that we want to play,
Tom, can I just stop you there 1 second?
From the front.
Can I just stop you 1 second? He only came on, if I'm not mistaken, I tried to watch all of the Dutch games. He only came on in the quarterfinals. So he's talking about when he came on in that second half.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
well,
we,
yeah,
we,
extra
we,
time,
well,
yeah.
let's look at the
Hang on,
Dutch
Nurdin,
options,
let
though.
Tom finish.
Let's
Go on, Tom, finish.
let's have a look at the Dutch options, though. What Memphis Depay was at the World Cup? Did he do fuck all? No. You
No,
know,
but he
so
started
what's the
before World Cup.
alternative there? Well, he started, yeah. What? Because he's Louis van Gaal's boy. That's why.
Yeah.
At the end
No,
of the day,
actually, he's not
Workhouse
actually.
is Burnley.
Actually, you know what? Him and Louis van Gaal fell out. Actually,
Him and Louis van Gaal fell out. He brought him to Manchester United. He wanted Louis van Gaal to go back to Barcelona for a deal. Then he goes to Barcelona, does absolutely nothing. You get a player like Weghorst, for example, target man, physically can deal with the progressiveness of the Premier League, albeit he didn't have the bestest of time at Burnley. It's Burnley, come on, guys. And I'm not being disrespectful, but you look at the Burnley from the team that he was in to the Burnley team now in the Championship, it's completely different. Completely different with the way that they play. And at the end of the day, if Eric Ten Hag's come out in the quotes, and I don't look at Ten Hag and think he's a hypocrite with what he says. He knows what he says, and he knows what he means when he means it, and when he says it. And when he says that we're not just going to buy any Tom, Dick, or Harry, or bring anybody, I'm going to bring somebody in for a reason. He will have a plan for this player. And I look at all the players that we've brought in this far, we have always had a plan for all these players, whether they're going to be substitutes, squad players, or first team players. He has a plan for them. So at the end of the day, you bring in somebody such as Workhouse's credibility. I don't know of any major injury record that he has on his record. So he's reliable. Abubakar, that you said about Nurdin, I think he's had about 3 or 4 major injuries in his career. You get him out and you get Martial out, you're back to square one, where you've got nothing. Giroud has injury records as well. Marcus Thuram has injury records. All these players have injury records. You're basically buying somebody else's problem for 6 months. João Felix deal, he's not even a striker. Cody Bakpo, not a striker. So with the Weghorst deal, I think all points go towards more of a pro for this deal to happen than not. And I would rather have Weghorst in for 6 months, where now we can actually see if John Murtough is this footballing director genius, because now, John Murtough, you have the security of, you have a striker at your football club. You have 6 months now, or you have 5 months, whatever, to do some proper recruitment in the market and find a permanent solution in the summer. Because you're saying all this about what you're planning for the summer and this, that, the other in your quotes. Okay, the main priority in the summer is a permanent striking option. You've already admitted that. So we expect a permanent striking option of elite quality of the ranking that Manchester United have. But when you don't have the finances available in January, there's uncertainty over the ownership. There's no guarantee that any player is going to be coming in the summer due to the ownership. All we've got is a bunch of questions with no answers to them at the end of the day. And you have one man carrying the can for this whole football club, which is every single time, under every single different era and different manager's regime, the person who has to carry the can is the manager. But you know what? I think Eric Ten Hag's done the best job out of all the managers that we've had at this moment in time. We've always deflected the criticism from this ownership. But you can see in his face at the end of the day, if Weghorst is a player that he wants, bring him in. What have we got to lose? We've got nothing to lose.
Even in the summer though, I don't think we sign a quote unquote elite striker that solves our problem right now. I think we are looking for our next Wayne Rooney. I think we're looking for somebody that is within the 18 to 25 range that we can spend a lot of money on and have for the next 6 years or so.
That's not the profile that Ten Hag's always gone through with his career. When you look at the strikers that he's worked with, Sebastian Haller, for example, was washed up at West Ham. Nobody even gave him a prayer when he went to Ajax. He turned him into one of the best goal scorers in Europe. And that was with a very low par and average Ajax team at the time, which wasn't the same productive team that won him all the way to the semi-finals.
Hang on a second. No, Tom, I'm with you, Tom.
I just want to get the super chat. 1 second. I would say Haller was scoring a lot of goals in Germany, by the way. He scored a lot of goals. I just want to get this. Big up Miassi says, Irfan, you're getting the Dutch Peter Crouch. I actually rate Peter Crouch. I think Peter Crouch.
I rate Peter Crouch.
I rate his goal scoring.
For anything, for that breakdance, he's an icon.
Yeah. So he's underrated for me, Peter Crouch. If he's good as Peter Crouch, then I'm happy to have him. We're getting Felix and Mundria.
Mudryk, yeah.
Jesus and Smith Rowe will have the best squad in the Premiership if we get those players apart from City. Okay, say Miassi. You keep smoking whatever you're smoking. Miassi, right? Say Miassi and the likes of Richard Arnold and John Mater smoke. They all smoke the same shisha place.
It's the same.
Can you let us know if you know them saying? If you know John Mater and if
can
you
I
know
just
Richard Arnold.
can I just say, Nuruddin, like obviously, like the way Tom breaks it down is like we're obviously hoping that our recruitment breaks it down like that, but I don't think they do, right? But on a practical level, I've seen this guy. Like I said, I did see him on Burnley, like I said, and I did look at how Ajax used. Did they use? They used obviously Sebastian Haller. Did they use Klaas-Jan Huntelaar as well? Did they use him as well? Did he play for them as well? Hey, Nuruddin?
I think so.
That's what I'm saying. So I've got a feeling on a practical level that Ten Hag can get something out of Weghorst. I think he can. I think he can do something with the guy. And for me, if I just put all aside all my hatred of the recruitment and the poison, we do need a player. I could see this guy working for Man United. I could see it working because of the way he is, and he's much more Premiership ready than Vincent Aboubakar is, or Aboubakar, whatever. He's much more ready for it than this guy. So on a practical level, I would take this guy if we had. But
listen, 100%.
You see the point I'm making on Nuruddin? You see,
yeah, 100%. Listen, 100% what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's about player preference, innit? I just prefer because I think he's more athletic, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, his injury record, Vincent Aboubakar's injury record, obviously he had a crucial ligament in 2018-19, and he missed like 41 games. He was out for the season. His next big injury was a hamstring injury in 2021 season, and he missed 8 games. And the next big injury he missed 4 games, which is a thigh muscle strain. That's what that's what's happened to him. And then the other big injury he had was a knee injury, and he missed 5 games. So compared to Warhol, it's true when we look at this. We've got to be honest. In terms of Weghorst, he has had a groin injury. He was out for 1 game. He had the virus. He was out for 3 games. He had a thigh muscle strain, and he was out for 1 game, 5 days. Well, in terms of the days he was out, so he was out for 6 days, 15 days, 5 days, 7 days, 13 days. So he's got a good injury record. So in terms of even I prefer myself, my preference is Aboubakar because I believe.
Really?
Listen,
honestly,
no, because he's got that. To me, Aboubakar is way underrated. If he played for any other team, European team, people will be talking about him. But because he plays
in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Well, Ronaldo plays in Saudi Arabia. Sure.
Yeah, and Ronaldo is washed up. There's a reason he plays in Saudi Arabia.
We saw him in the World Cup. We did see him in the World Cup. That wasn't Saudi Arabia. World Cup. We saw him there.
Sure, but it's the World Cup.
No joke play. This guy's a definitely. I was surprised when I saw this guy. I was like, wow, this guy can play.
But let me just finish. It's about preference, innit? Everybody has a different opinion, innit? Right? I believe he's more of an athletic guy. He's more that scores some spectacular goals, but he is a creator also. His assist record is brilliant for Porto, and I used to watch him when of his Porto were in the Champions League, innit? And I would watch him sometimes. So this is the type of preference. But if you look at the both injury records, yes, you would say Weghorst. Weghorst is not a guy who gets a lot of injuries. He's 30. They're both the same age, by the way, both same age. And he's a guy who's not had too many injuries. He's not that
aside from injury records, I would suggest like just familiarity as well. I think Weghorst gets a point for having played in the Premier League before and for being familiar with like Ten Hag's similar philosophy, like football philosophy. He gets some points for that too. But like where I also agree with you with like incompetence on the Glazers angle is that if we're signing him, then he should come in quickly. Like there's no need to be dilly-dallying over the whole Burnley versus Besiktas thing. If we're gonna sign this guy, let's get him in as soon as possible and let's have him available like for the games that are coming.
Yeah. Listen, I want to definitely move on. So big up. It says Vincent Bullock says don't want a full account because there is a less profit when they sell of the club, but they never put a penny themselves. I can't think of that. So yeah. The biggest goal right now is to get the Glazers to sell the club before the end of the season. Listen, we're going to come back in a minute. But big up everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Tom, if you're around, come back. We need to hear from you, bro. The next thing that I really wanted to move on to is this wage gap. This is something that came out. And by the way, big up Logan. So I just want to get to this. So apparently on New Year's Eve, this is what happened on New Year's Eve, apparently. So those of you who don't know, Anthony came out the other day and he gave a vague interview and he said he wants to thank Martial because he missed the Bournemouth game, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a Bournemouth game that he missed? Yeah. I think he missed the Bournemouth game. Was it the Bournemouth game? I think it was the Bournemouth game because that's the game that I went to. So he missed the Bournemouth game.
Yeah.
But he came back for the Everton game, which Irfan was at. So this is what the report is. So it says Manchester United forward, big up Logan, United Real Therapy journalist. Manchester United forward Anthony was involved in a crash on the motorway on New Year's Eve. Terrifying incident. The 20-year-old did not sustain any injuries in the accident, but was left badly shaken, while no other individuals were involved. Police arrived at the scene at the M56 near Anthony's home with a footballer passing a breathalyzer test and with his car recovered. Anthony was left out of the United squad as he recovered from this. Wow, that's crazy. He's not the first, guys. He's not the first. He won't be the last. A lot of these young footballers,
we had Franco on before.
Yeah.
We had Franco on before. Franco used to tell me stories of what Brazilian footballers used to get up. Aguero, all of them, even the guys like, what was the young kid that played for City that left at Real Madrid? What was he called? The young guy, small guy. Striker.
Cancelo.
Brahim Diaz?
No, man. The striker that played for Brazil but then went to Real Madrid as well. What was he called? The young guy.
Robinho.
Robinho. All them guys used to get up because they all used to come to the party. So, you got to understand that, that story of Anti doesn't surprise me a bit. They are young people at the end of the day. It's crazy that it's happened, but it makes sense why he missed the match, Nurdin. Why else would he have missed the match?
Well, the club have put it out to the feelers that he was injured. That's what they did. They put it out to the people that he's injured. And this is not the first time, by the way, that Ten Hag's covering for him, because every manager has favourites. Even though Ten Hag says he doesn't have any favourites, everybody has favourites.
Yeah.
And to me, Anthony wasn't injured when we needed him for 3 games, but he didn't want to get injured in any of those games because he wanted to go to the World Cup with Brazil. And then as soon as Brazil meet up together, he's there running around doing all sorts of crazy
I saw the pictures, Nerdin. I saw the pictures.
Are you kidding me? But anyway, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic now. We're going to talk about supposed wage gap. So apparently, according to reports, this is what the club is briefing anyway to certain journalists. Manchester United players are going to be capped at 200 grand a week, which is ludicrous. What sounds to me ludicrous, because not everybody in the team can be paid. Not every player can be paid 200 grand a week, right? It's just ludicrous. Like, to have that as a cap where everybody can be paid 200 grand a week just seems like a really surreal for me, because that means then you won't be able to sign players. But to me, I'm just speculating. What this is that when Man United, if you looked at any other top clubs in Europe or in the Premier League, let me just get this. Let me get the context right, and I'll come to you, Arun, and then we go to Sean and Irfan, right? Manchester United in the last decade Man United have been either the first or second in world football, highest paid players in world football. At this moment, as we speak right now, Manchester United have 10 of the highest paid Premier League players. I repeat again, 10 of the highest paid Premier League players. The most Premier League highest paid players, Manchester United have got 10 of them in there, and 10 of those are the highest. Manchester United as a football club in the last decade, especially in the last 6-7 years, cannot ever move on a player. Man United can't sell. The reason why that is because we have not had any strategy in terms of buying players. We buy players through agents and intermediaries with agents, and then we pay the biggest wages because we know nobody wants to come to Man United because we're going to win trophies or we're going to bring success or we're going to develop the careers of these young footballers. They come for the money. This is the reason why all of a sudden these rumors are being put out there. I don't believe this, because if this is the truth, this is stupid. Most clubs understand that majority of players are paid similar, depending how they are to the team, how much importance they are, if they're a regular starting lineup player, if they're a substitute, a guy who comes on as a sub. These all dynamics come into it. Other football clubs have it right. Liverpool had, where they had in all the clauses on every player they signed, they would put performance and goal scoring clauses. So what they would do then, top up their wages. If they played good and they were a first team player and they're performing every week and banging in goals, they all got bonuses, which topped up their wages. But to come out and say Manchester United are making sure no other players are paid higher than any player in the team is ludicrous and just sounds like the most amateurish reaction to the toxicity that's been around Manchester United be able to sell players, because we can't sell players. Glazonomics says Man United get you on a lap. Harry Maguire signed a 7-year contract on 200 grand a week. 5-6 hours ago today, 8 hours ago, he was trending on Twitter as a guy that was going to Villa because he was having a dinner in a restaurant in Aston area in Birmingham and was playing golf there this weekend. It's just ridiculous. But Arun, I'm gonna go to you. The two, and I want to give a bit of historical context. Last time Manchester United had a wage cap. The two players, Manchester United, Ferguson, and Manchester United at that time with David Gill, broke the wage caps for Rio Ferdinand and Roy Keane, two of our best players who were winning league titles right, left, and centre. They broke the wage structure for those two players, Roy Keane, then Rio Ferdinand. But go ahead.
First of all, the timing is weird, and we have at least more than 5 or 6 players over 300k per week. So it will be really tough to convince your employee to take a wage cut, because you aren't that attractive club anymore that you're winning trophies year on. And my thing is, even though we are quite, we advocate wage cap and stuff like that, but we are an institution. We are quite a large club to have a wage cap. A club which Ed Woodward made us look all right in status in terms of signing big players over the 10 years. If he was still here, we would be signing players like Neymar and stuff like that, just for him to show the glamour that Manchester United still exists. So I don't believe in wage cap, because that means in the next 2-3 years, if we want to sign a superstar, we won't be able to sign because of our wage cap. It can't happen, in my opinion. But at the same time, I will appreciate wage reduction, like humane, like proper wages compared to Man City. Kevin De Bruyne deserves 400k or 500k a week, but in our club, De Gea has been earning 475. So there must be some logic. There should be some logic in place for the future. The timing is quite weird, because the team is, see, for them the timing is perfect because the manager took control of Cristiano's situation. Team is performing, earning points and stuff like that, and it's on a high. It's on fan base are quite easy to accept anything right now. So if in my opinion, they might be testing the waters with fans on the opinion what's going on, if they are okay with wage cap and stuff, which would mean no superstar signing anymore, which would mean we have to operate someone like Moneyball kind of, and high levelish Moneyball kind of thing, which I don't believe in, because in this day and age, to win a league, except Premier League, any other league is won by a team who is highly paid. Mostly, it's only Manchester United is the only team that gets highly paid and not win anything. So it's a fact that for the past 4 or 5 years, all majority, like 80% of the team that wins, they're highly paid, the most highly paid in that particular league. So it's a weird one. Being a big club, won't be able to sign big players. I'm not too sure about wage cap. Yeah.
Arun Pandey is definitely against it because his dream of getting Harry Kane. Harry Kane will not stand for
No.
Harry Kane would not want to be paid the same amount of money as Harry Maguire. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'll say 2 things. First off, if the question of whether or not it's true, and we believe it, I'm not sure. Like, I'll give you that one. I don't know if it's true. It might just be them, testing the waters, like Arun said. Whether or not it's a good idea, for me, I support it. I think you can be flexible with what quote unquote 200k means. It could mean a range around 200,000. I think it could be a signal. De Gea already is willing to accept a pay cut to remain at United. There are other ways that the club can find to compensate the players, even if, like, their wages per se, weekly wages per se, are reduced. I think it's a signal to the type of player personality that we're looking for in the club. If the club is saying we're no longer going to sign superstar quote unquote players, and we do that for the next 2 or 3 years, I don't have a problem with that. If we're willing to break the wage gap for anybody, like Keane or Ferdinand, like you mentioned, then they should have to back it up with the years of trophies that followed up, the signing of those players, or would have a problem. So as far as I'm concerned, like if you're asking me whether or not I believe it, I don't know. I don't know if this is true, but if I agree with it, or if I think it's a smart idea, yes, I agree with it. I think it's reported as Tenhag'S, initiative. So I'm down with it. Like let everyone remember that they're playing for a great club, that the badge means something, and that like you're not just here to collect a paycheck.
Big up, Sean. To me, I always said this. I'm somebody who argued for this because it brought certain discipline, because then people can take the mic. Then what would happen was that is what Glazeronomics, how he's been working at Manchester United, and I explained before, is the fact that no other club could ever come and get any of these players who failed at Man United, because no other football club in the world will ever give
paying them ridiculous wages.
Yeah, would ever give wages to that. The classic example is Eric Bailly for me. Eric Bailly wanted to go and play football, right? And Eric Bailly and his agent, the discussion went around, okay, Eric Bailly, the club want you to sign a new contract, right? And then his agent's looking at Eric Bailly and said, Eric, listen, I can't get you that money in any other club. Manchester United are not just offering you this amount of money. No other club are going to offer you this amount of money. So Eric Bailly then signs a contract because he's...
You missed the key word out, Nerdin. You missed the key word out. Know that any sensible club...
Yeah, no, of course. Listen, when people tell me I've got the facts on my side, when people go, how do you know this? I know this because I've studied it. Go on, have a look.
But what you're saying is that it's a sign of weakness. So people ask themselves the question, how come City were able to sign that guy from Leeds? What's the name of this midfielder?
Phillips.
For Calvin Phillips for 40 million pounds. If that was United, they would have charged us 80 million. Because that's because they know that we'll be willing to pay, and players know that they can demand all sorts of ridiculous things from United as a club.
Well, that's it. So when I was first screaming and saying, these bankers, and telling everybody about the bankers and how they don't have a clue, people were laughing at me.
So you should be happy. You should be happy at the steps that you should be happy at the steps that they're taking now. Like no.
Like, yeah, but Sharon, it doesn't make any sense. He's right. It doesn't make any sense.
Listen, the club is damaged already. The club is severely damaged.
This is crazy.
Listen, what Eric Ten Hag has to do now is pull an absolute miracle. It's literally pull one out of the hat like magic, because
that's football. Listen, that's literally what you're describing. Football, listen, it's all that matters is 90 minutes on the pitch and the belief that you go into.
No, it isn't. I'm sorry, Sean, but that's where you fundamentally disagree. Everything the difference between you and me, and maybe a lot of the comments and a lot of the people in the comments and that, is that what you doing in the background, in what we don't see, what people don't see, matters, is so crucial to what you see in the front. Like,
Agreed.
It's like Irfan. People think Irfan just picks out his records, just grabs a couple of records, and then goes to go and play in a party. No, Irfan, I'll ring Irfan and go, Irfan, listen, let's go and get some food. What are you doing? Oh, listen, I've got to sort out my set. He's there for 4 or 5 hours, like for a party.
4 or 5 hours for a week.
For a week.
What?
Yeah, listen, sorting out, People don't see that. People see Irfan turn up at the club and then play the music and then go from one style of music, right, to a different style of music, then bring the party back to this stuff.
He doesn't know how much I know about the music in Nigeria. Sharon doesn't know. He doesn't know.
No, you showed me the Fela record the other day.
I study high life, juju music, Afrobeat. I study everything in Nigeria, everything.
I agree with the point. I agree with the point you're making.
The point he's making is the point.
For example, Man City. Listen, I'll give you an example. Manchester City today played against Chelsea. Chelsea have got a couple of injuries. They played a young Chelsea side today. Manchester City was able to rest Haaland, Grealish, all these different kind of players. I didn't even see De Bruyne. They played all these other teams.
He didn't play De Bruyne. No.
They gathered all these players and they brought some of the youth players into the team because
I have news for you,
what they're doing in the background.
United will never be that club.
Come in a second.
We will never be that club.
Whoa, let's calm down. Calm down. Hold on.
What's called the football structure. They took the 2 best footballing operators, the director of football and the head of recruitment from Barcelona, brought them to Manchester, worked with them because they knew what Pep wanted, because they always wanted Pep. That's why he never came to Manchester United. He was always going to City.
Do you know what City was also able to do?
The point I'm trying to make to you...
You can come back in a second. Hold on. Go on.
The point I'm trying to make to you is that it's not just about 90 minutes. In football, in modern football, everything is about what we don't see. It's what we don't see. It's the players inside. Listen, let me finish. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool don't have the money that
City have.
City have. But guess what Liverpool do? Because they had Michael Edwards, sporting director. He knew sell the guys. Was it Suarez? Sell the Brazilian guy, and both of them they got something like 130 million, 120 million. So those two reinvested into the squad. Boom, with a good manager. What happens when you've got support in the background, director, and people who know footballing people who know what they're doing? It counts. And that's Sean, you just exposed yourself by telling me.
Let me just say a couple of things now.
Wait, hold on a second, Nuruddin. Hold on.
Let me just say a couple of things, Nuruddin. Liverpool is a good example of how it is not exactly a science, because look at where they are right now and look at what is going on, like, you know, with their recruitment and how things are playing out for them. With City were able to buy a £50 million right back 1 year, decide that they don't like that guy actually. They bought 50 million centre-back Manganga. Who knows where that guy is today? They were able to spend so much money because they are funded by a state. United don't have that type of backing. We have to work within the world that we're in. Every club cannot be City. We cannot expect to have Haaland on the bench and Gundogan on the bench. Some clubs have to rely on something like heart and things like myths and, you know, unifying themes that they have around the belief that goes into being football. That's something, it's football. You cannot expect to have every single player, you know, 2 players in a position, everybody all not injured every time. You have to work with what you have.
I'm sorry to break it to you. Breaking news, Sean. Manchester United in the last decade have overspent Man City, right? And the fact that what I'm trying to say to you is that Liverpool were clever enough. Liverpool, you know what? They're FSG. Let me finish, please. FSG. What FSG did was that they would always sell to buy. They will sell to buy. And as soon as that model became dead, now they want to sell the football club because their model is sell to buy. You will sell the highest guys, the superstars, and then buy. But they understood that the superstars got old, so they only got 30 million for Mane.
Yeah,
they got 30 million for Mane. They didn't when Suarez, and for the other guy, they got how many did they get? They got
100 million.
So their football model is different. But I just want to break it to you, bro. The difference between Man City and Manchester United is that Man City have got people who know what they're doing, who are footballing guys. You had a banker for 6 to 7, 8 years buying footballers through 3-4 agents. I broke it down. I'm sorry.
They also had a sovereign wealth fund.
All right, wait a second.
You know what? In my head, in my own studies, with anybody telling me, I went to a university called Manchester United Bottle Job fucking University where nobody knows what the fuck they're doing and why we've not won a trophy in 5 years and we've only won 1 fucking cup I can recognize.
Right,
I don't disagree.
You're telling me now. No, Man City. No. Man
United. Wait.
Let me finish. Man United on record have spent more than Man City. $1.5 billion have been spent on players. We spent more than that.
and that's a bad thing.
Listen,
and we shouldn't do that anymore. So we're not.
Man United have brought the transfer record 3 times more than Man City. Man City most expensive player is Jack Grealish. That's it. So
okay, Nuruddin, you made your point. We get it. You're right. Listen. Can we just get back? Hold it a second, right? I understand, Nuruddin. This gets you so angry. It triggers you so badly because the incompetence is off the next level. I hear you. You didn't say anything.
I'm not going to hear it. Never.
No. Listen. No, Nuruddin, you were spot on. But let me just say, right? Of course, right? Because Shane made a few good points as well. Because they can afford to buy a right back, a left back, 60 million. He fails, bang, we'll get the next one, right? I get that. That is unique to them. United used to be this team. In my lifetime, United were always a team that could break the record by whichever player they wanted, you know, whether it was a Keane, whether it was a Paul Ince, even going back before then, anyone. United always used to do this. So United used to win the financial wars because United were the richest, even under, you know, the Martin Edwards. You know, we always used to have that. In my lifetime, we always bought the glamorous signings. I get that, right? What happened was, when the City empire arrived, right, they did everything in a very careful, considered way, knowing they had state funding. I get that. So look, they spent silly money on players, right? I get you. They could do it, but they also had a structure in place to allow them to spend their money carefully and even to buy the guys for 15 million. 20. I mean, even buying a Kanji tells me how smart they are compared to us, or more on idiots that we are, right? It just tells me they probably didn't even need him, but they've got him and he's playing all the time, right? I don't understand.
At Old Trafford. He was a United fan. I saw him at the Stratford end. He's a United
fan. I'm just saying, when they bought him, I was like, oh my God. You know, I'm just saying it was another little knife through the heart, a small one, right? But look, what I'm saying to you is, look, the whole this discussion started with United imposing a wage cap, right? Now, if you're a comedy sketch writer or doing some kind of satire on Man United, you know, like you just like keep praying to the satire god, because you just keep getting more and more ammo to write your stories that nobody could make up about Man United. You know, they keep coming. And the idea of a wage cap, when you've rinsed the club dry, you've wasted so much money, is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in Man United sort of Glazer lifetime. They want to put a wage cap in. The people that just throw money away, had this moron called Woodward throwing money left, right and centre. Everybody knows United's a bend over club where everyone else pays 40 million, we pay 80. Everybody knows that. We're the only club left in the world that you can do that to still today. Everyone knows that. If you're a player and you want to get a wage increase, what do? You're linked with Man United. That's what we had. That we became. I don't know what the word is. I don't want to put some horrible link to prostitutes and stuff like that. I don't want to do it, but that's who we are.
Sex workers.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to. But that's who we are. We are the laughing stock of modern club international football. Of the famous clubs, we're the joke. Followed closely by Barcelona. They're catching up to us, right? But we are the joke. So I don't understand this idea of a price cap. It's crazy in a way. But I mean, like I said, I said this in the last show.
It's a step in the right direction.
But you said that, Sean. But what you tell me by any of your logic, where this in the pattern of Man United's behaviour in the back room, in the financial department, where does this statement come from, and how does it link to how you've run the club for the last 10 years? Explain to me how that links.
Not last 10 years. I would say last 8 months. It doesn't link to the last 10 years. It links to the last 8 months, and you know, just around the Ten Hag time. I think this is part of the Ten Hag.
Okay, all right. So you're saying that Ten Hag is that influential? He can now change the wage structure and everything else. Are you saying that?
I think Ten Hag is on course to be the most influential manager since Fergie left. Like he's the person. Like it has to be him, or otherwise, like, you know, the club is going to be in doldrums. Like we're going to turn to Leeds. He's the person who is taking it on his back to, you know, change the way the club is playing, put belief back into into the players. Okay, get everyone fighting, institute meritocracy in the system. He has to be the guy. So yes, he is that influential. I like I said before, they backed him in the Ronaldo fight. That would never have happened with Solskjaer. Like it would never have happened with Ragnick. That was Ronaldo's beef, essentially. That was his problem. That Ten Hag did not rate him and did not, you know, bow down to him, essentially.
Listen, Sean, to be fair, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told Woodward he didn't want Ronaldo. Everybody knew, but nobody wanted him. But the Glazers wanted him because they wanted to make. I personally believe the Glazers. If you look at the timing, Arun, I'll come to you, Arun. If you looked at the timing, the Glazers have been looking for investors for quite a while, since 2019, 2018. And Ronaldo was one of that signing to try to bring investors into the football. But go ahead, Arun. I just want to add just quickly, just to say this, that we're talking about in terms of wage cap, but Manchester United, Arun, spent over 77 million. That's not me saying it. I didn't come out with this figure by just grab it out of the thin air. This is a sport institution, sport organization based in Switzerland who look at football transfers. Manchester United overspent in the summer because of the way we rushed it. Everything was just calamitous. We rushed everything. We overspent by 77 million. So could you imagine if when we bought Anthony for 55 million, Lissandro Martinez for 45 million.
Cost of doing business, Norwegian.
60 million, you could say that, even though I think was ridiculous for a 30-year-old player, right? Ericsson, we got on a free. Malacia was 13 million going up to 16 or 17 million. So could you imagine, right? We would have 77 million to get a striker in the summer, right? What we needed with Ronaldo or no Ronaldo, and we would even go and bought a right back. But go ahead.
No, but these are the things that we have been speaking for the past 4 or 5 years on YouTube now. I think
Yeah.
these are the facts that you have been banging on about, Irfan, by everyone else. Tom,
Yeah.
I've been speaking about it for the entire social media era, and this channel has been advocating Glazers out for the longest of time, and finally, it seems like Glazers are going out. It's Sean said something about that Eric Ten Hag is on its way to be the most influential manager, but at the same time, he's not being backed properly though. Yeah, he got all those signings, but if Pep Guardiola wanted a proper striker in January, he would have got a proper striker in January. We are getting Weghorst or Abu Bakar kind of
Pep
players.
has also won 3 or so Premier League titles in the last few years. Like apples and oranges.
No, even in his first year, like he wanted to get rid of Joe Hart, he was allowed to. Same way we wanted to get rid of Ronaldo, he was allowed to. Wanted to drop Rashford, Ten Hag was allowed to. I mean, when was the last time Manchester United released a statement supporting manager on Ronaldo, stuff like that? Never happened in recent years. So I understand that they're trying to support him day by day. They are trying to. Always great to see pictures of Arnold in the training ground for under 17 or under 16 games, kind of thing. Always good to see that at least they are giving a shit. But at the same time, expectations are huge. Need a proper, well-known football person to run this club. To be honest, these in-house staff are too much reliant on our manager. And to be fair, the manager has so much pressure that he might get one or two signings wrong. So we need a proper sought-after guy or lady who understands football, have a black book of contacts of players and their families to connect with, or those players who are future gems. We can grab them early. So we have to be shrewd and be creative. With our budget this January, I understand that they have to go for Weghorst. For me, it's kind of creative. At the same time, beggars are no choosers, unfortunately. Thankfully, everything on the pitch is going well. Off the pitch is still a bit shambles, but trying to implement wage cap is bullshit. And for us, is the biggest boon and the biggest blessing we will get this season. It's not top 4; it's mostly
no. But Aaron,
Yeah.
I would argue that I think it's better that we have a manager who develops like a larger than life complex. I think we should go back to that. I think we've had enough of managers who are just part of a wheel. You were suggesting that it might be better if they bring someone else to help Ten Hag.
No,
let him carry everything on his head. He should be the one. Let him develop that type of personality where the players know that at this club, the manager's word is bond, and you play for him, and nobody wants to let him down.
No,
that's how it's supposed to be.
The great Sir Alex said that there has been no manager after him who took total control of the club. But the great man himself, David Gill. So you need someone like that. The fans trust, the players trust that, okay, they will look after me, my family, and everything. Yeah. So someone like that. Ragnick was a respectable man, and he made a mockery after coming to Manchester United of his life, unfortunately. Used to be respectable in Europe, still respectable. But
Shane, I admire your positivity towards Ten Hag, and I admire the fact that you think he's turning the club inside out and making it more professional. But that's what I'm saying. Where I disagree with you is I doubt. I don't. This is only going off the last 10 years of seeing how the club has been running to the ground. How he's going to change that unless you get a new owner. Now, I'm more than happy to be wrong, and you can go back to me, Shane, and say, look, I told you, didn't I? I told you Ten Hag was putting all these changes in. He was putting in he was making basically getting all those mistakes that were wrong for years. Right? I would love to be on board with that school of thinking and say Ten Hag how to do that. I'm with you, but can I just say, I don't buy it yet. But like I said, I'm open to be wrong.
This next segment, listen, we're gonna. You know what? This goes up. Big up Logan, by the way. Reporter for United Real Therapy. So big up Logan. So this is from Richard Allen, and we go to the last segment of the show, people. This is the last thing. So I'll quickly go back to Aaron, then go to Shane and Earth and finish on this. But Man UFC CEO Richard Arnold says the new investor. So he's talking about investors. He's not talking about sale, by the way. He's talking about investors. And Man United have been looking to invest for quite a while now. Like I said, the Ronaldo thing was linked to bringing investors into the club. But we'll see. Man UFC CEO Richard Allen says new investors. This was the quarterly statement from the club. So Richard Arnold, Neil Ashton, John Murtagh always go in front of the shareholders. So this is for the
shareholders. You have to when you're on the stock exchange. You have to.
Mid-December. This is from mid-December. But there's some of the information have been released just now. So Richard Arnold says new investors in the club will be urged to work closely with the fans, express hope potential for a full or partial sale would prove positive step forward. So that's what he's saying. So I want to just go. So Richard Arnold then continues and he says Manchester United. Oh, so this is it's not Richard Arnold. That was it.
But that statement, no, go on.
So just to say, so basically in terms of what the sale is, and it's very careful to say investors. So still they're looking for investors to try to have part of the club being sold, where the Glazers are still in charge, or for the full sale. I just want to go to what you can't find it now because my internet is messing up at the moment because we've been live for an hour and a bit.
Can I just say, Nerdine, you know that last statement you just read? That was just a classic. To me, it just read like a Neil Ashton statement. It didn't read.
Neil Ashton controls all of these, so that's why we always have to get it. But I always have to bring it because this is what Neil Ashton literally brings. Like Neil Ashton brings this. That's what he does. He literally writes everything down. It's all PR BS. Yep. But I'm just trying to find what other thing he said. But John Murtagh basically said we spent a lot of money in January. And he basically says we spent a lot of money in January, and we don't want to.
No, he didn't say we spent. No, we didn't say we spent a lot of money in January. He spent a lot of money in last year. In the summer.
So we haven't got any money, and we have to be careful about. He said we have to be careful about the financial fair play rules, which is ridiculous. But I just want to quickly go to you, Arun. In terms of still, there are rumors, they're just speculations, and people clickbaiting people. I have to personally see it to believe it that it's full sale. I think they're still looking for investors because Glazers don't ever want to let go of the cash cow that is Manchester United.
No, they don't.
So, what do you feel about this? Reading some of the comments about what people like Richard Arnold are saying.
Yeah. Now, obviously, ideal situation. One day we wake up to Glazers probably fully out. That would be the best case scenario. But as a fan perspective, if more cash injections for investing for signing and stadium development, I'm not too sure if there is a brand or any company out there who will invest heavily and without their name on it. So that's an issue. And also the cash cow that Manchester United once were, not anymore, because the viewership rights and everything, it's better in other leagues at the moment. Sorry, in other sports at the moment, NFL and IPL. So without Super League, their main investment won't be ROI won't be there. The return on investment won't be there without Super League. So Super League was the biggest failure. That's why you see Liverpool sale of Liverpool, Chelsea gone, and I think they would rather have a full sale because I'm pretty sure they're done with the fans as well. Nobody gave no love to them, and deservedly so. And there is no point owning something that's not exactly a cash cow anymore. If we were that rich, we would have signed someone better in January. So the credits, it's gone. It's time to turn over the page, bring a new owner, pay all the debt, settle all the debt. And I think the biggest thing that we are not anticipating is what if the new owners come in and start fresh like Todd Boehly and look for the new manager, new structure, everything. So that's also a risky part. But yeah, I think it will be a full sale, even though I have not read anything concrete that it will be a full sale. They're very diplomatically commenting about part of investments. They're not talking about sale because they're not meant to talk about sale. They are employee of Glazers. So there are quite a few reasons to sell Manchester United at the moment, but I'm not too sure if there are many to buy.
Yeah, big up, bro. Go to you, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to address Efren first off, the reason why I'm optimistic about Ten Hag is because I think in the last 10 years, and this is probably like the fundamental disagreement between myself and Nuruddin. In the last 10 years, I think the managers bear more responsibility than people have given them credit for. As for the Glazers and the sale, this one, I don't really have much hope because, like, as Arun was saying, the debts that United has right now has to be priced in into whatever sale. That probably means like an inflated value for any investor that's likely to come in. Aside from that, the investor will probably have to make commitments around players that they would need to sign. So not only would you be buying the club, you are looking at like significant investments into the stadium, into like transfers and all of that. So it's a lot of money that the Glazers are likely going to be asking for. I don't see like a partial like sale or selling like some of their shares. It wouldn't really make much sense because anybody who's coming in right now is coming in to take over from the Glazers. Maybe they keep like a tiny percentage through some, company that they create in Switzerland somewhere or something like that. But it's probably somebody new that's going to come in, and that person is going to have to spend a lot of money. And I can't think of many people with that much money aside from one of the Middle Eastern states, and there's a lot of politics around that. United is the crown jewel of English football. I think it would be complicated, to have it in the hands of certain types of like owners. That would be difficult or a difficult sell. So that leaves like financiers from US or within the UK. It's a lot of money. It's a huge ask. It's going to take a long time. I'm not really like spending much time thinking about like the sale right now. I see maybe like a year or 2 years before anything can happen. I think the Glazers' hope and my hope is that we can be distracted with good football in the meantime, so that like we have things to be happy about and celebrate.
Yeah, big up. F, go ahead, F.
I mean, this is one that drives me crazy. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. Anything about the idea that I like you, Nerdin. I don't believe the club's going to be sold. I just don't believe they're not going to let go of it, in my opinion, unless they've got something to gain from it, even in the future. I don't believe unless they get a silly sale like where they get 8 billion. Sorry, where it's super valued. Because you have to look at the mentality of who they are, how they got their club, what their father did, how they do business. These are ultra greedy corporate capitalists of the worst kind. They have obviously, in my opinion, they have financially raped the club dry. So why would I believe anything that they say that's going to be positive about? They've been managing the fans for ages. Like I said, I was at the Everton game, and like I said, every 10, 15 minutes. The Stratford End would start singing "We Want Glazers Out," and it was just constant. I only thought we'd hear it once or twice because Nerdin's always saying to me to sing it, and I didn't really believe it, but I actually saw it with my own eyes. So their hatred for the Glazers is deep. So when they send out these statements about, we want the fans, to be happy about this and that, I'm sorry, but it's just bullshit to me. I don't believe a word of it. Like I said, Now, obviously, they've got this. I forget. What's the firm called that they've put in charge to do the sale? What's the firm called that they've got involved?
Rain Group.
The Rain Group. Yeah. So the Rain Group is obviously it's in their interest to find somebody with a silly amount of money, probably in the Middle East, in the Gulf states, that's going to pay for his vanity project. He's a multi-billionaire to come and pay silly money for the club. That's what they're waiting out for. But I don't think that person's going to become so easily. Had Newcastle not been bought by the Saudi Arabian family, I thought they were the ones that would have done it. Because like I said, they are the kings and queens of sport washing. So it was perfect for them. Now the fact that golden goose wasn't available then, they couldn't get it. So they're obviously scouting and looking in the background and thinking, how can we get this? So we end up on the road to like extreme riches. I think that's what's happening at the moment. So these little statements about we want to invest in this and that, to me, again, it's just more PR, in my opinion, without any serious level negotiation. Because if you want to sell the club, you can sell it and you can do it, but not with these guys because they're unreasonable people. They're not, they're nothing like Roman Abramovich, they're completely different people to these guys. We have got the worst. And remember, Nerdin said it as well. The blueprint to buy a club is to make sure you don't follow what United did. That's how I see the blueprint for buying clubs at the moment.
Chelsea have got a clause on their ownership called the anti-Glazer clause, which means that the owners of Chelsea can't take out next decade for a decade. They can't take any dividends out of the football club for a decade.
Yeah, and remember, Nuruddin, you know,
Let
like
me
we've
just get this, let me just get this big up. Say me, I said, Nuruddin, why don't you watch?
do a watch along.
Arsenal first space. Our football is juicy, salt-based steak. Big up, say me.
Listen, let Zayn have your week-to-week glorification of your club. Have it, because we know you've been through pain. I mean, have they been for more misery than we have? Probably they have. The only club that's been than we have. Yeah,
20 years they've not challenged.
Wow, Nuruddin, wow. So listen, we'll let him have his moments, let him have his fun, right? While you're still at the top, enjoy it, Zayn. That's what we'll say to you lot. Let me just end by saying, you know, that's how I see it. You know, these financial statements or statements behind the club are saying we're going to do this and that. I'm sorry, it's just it goes in one ear, it's out the other. I don't believe it at all till I see them sell it, which I doubt they will. I might believe you, but I can't give you more than how I honestly feel about their financial statements. I can't give any more than that.
Yeah,
it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22 essentially because, like, and just to throw in big complications, the way their football clubs make money, either from fans in the stadium or from like media rights or TV like payments, it's getting the payments that like Sky or the broadcaster in the UK is able to make to these clubs is getting smaller because, like, you know, companies like Amazon and Apple TV are also, like, you know, playing in the football space, and when those guys, like, you know, sign the rights because they have the money to just do whatever they fucking want. So the landscape is getting a bit more difficult for clubs to make money. That's another thing that any investor is going to have to think about. So the team itself has to be doing well, and you know, so like I said, it's a catch-22. Glazers have to spend money, or the club has to play well for any investor to be interested. But the Glazers don't want to do that because they are on the way out and they're looking for a club that or a person that's interested. So we're stuck in this like
they say they're on the way out. They say, can I add that word? They say that. They say they're on the way out. They say they're gonna sell. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, big up, listen, big up to every one of you who joined us. Yeah, and thank you to Logan for the quotes. I think we just got the last bit of quotes from Richard Arnold. He's saying here, what's clear is that the fans will be integral to the success of Manchester under any ownership model, as we see this body as an important part of the club's governance structure.
That's what I mean. It's just that is classic spin. Just spin. It's a nothing statement. Nothing.
What happens with a strategic review? Arnold told fans for. It's hilarious. Listen,
I admire Nuruddin. I admire anyone who sees positivity in how ownership. I admire them because I would love to. Can you sell me some of that? I'll buy it off you all day long.
No. See, it's more like apathy. Like, just like I can't even like be bothered like to give them any of my energy because like I said, I think what happens on the pitch, and I think the managers we've had have made wrong decisions like that. I can't get past. Listen. Managers with no support, with no structure, obviously made mistakes. I think Eric Ten Hag, the biggest reason why I wanted Eric Ten Hag was that I knew as a coach he would solve a lot of problems on the training ground, but he still has to be backed. And like I said, but it's not just coaching like Nuruddin. He's making the decisions, the calls that he's making. Benching Maguire when he's benching Maguire. Of course. It is his team now.
No, listen. Well, 5 of the players are his team. It's still not his team till he finds them. When he signs another 5 players,
it's his team, Nuruddin.
Yeah. When he signs another 5 players, hopefully in the next year and a half, if we do get new owners, then we can say, you know what, that's the Eric Ten Hag team. But big up to you, big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe.
We're not losing the derby game, you know that, right?
Say that again?
We're not losing the derby. You know
we're not losing a derby. We're losing a derby.
We're not
your confidence, I admire, Aaron.
We'll see what happens, innit?
Trust me, these players will overturn that 6-3. Trust me.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Like I said to you, I called them cowards for getting smashed 6 at Man City. It was 4-0 or 4-0 in 43 minutes, something like that. I've looked through the records. Manchester United were never 4-0 down in 44 minutes. Never in the history of derbies, and it's nearly is it 150 derbies? Over 100 something derbies. Ridiculous. So for me,
that could easily happen again.
I don't understand where this optimism has come from, Man United. I don't get it at all. Did you watch City today? Did you see City today?
No,
Listen, it's
I'm-
ridiculous.
I'm
Listen,
just
it's ridiculous. But
optimistic a little bit.
listen, for me, I'm looking for the revenge. As a Mancunian who lives in Manchester, I'm looking for the revenge. That's what I'm looking for. But listen, we'll do the match preview. We'll look ahead to we'll be live tomorrow with ATV.
When is the game, Nuruddin? When is the City game? What date?
Saturday.
Oh, Saturday, right? Wow.
Midday, like early kickoff as well. Like,
So we got on Tuesday, we got Charlton on Tuesday. Let me just give you the fixtures quickly, people. On Tuesday, we've got Charlton. Then we've got City on Saturday, 12:30. Then Crystal Palace on the Wednesday. And then on the Sunday, we got Arsenal. Then we've got Reading on the Saturday after the Sunday. Then we have Crystal Palace back again. So that's what we've got. So we thought
That's
we
a
were gonna
tough
have a week
fixture
to
list,
plan.
man.
We thought the players were going to have and Van Gaal were going to have a week to plan for the Arsenal game, but they don't now. We play in a Wednesday, so every 3 days.
Make or break month, January.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And that's why, for me, whoever his first choice was, they let him down because Eric Ten Hag, after what he was speaking in the summer, he was like, I needed players. We should have signed players before the preseason. And I'm telling you, tonight is the 9th. It's the 9th of January. His first choice and second choice were not got by the club. Weghorst might be his fourth or fifth choice, whatever he is. But we need to get him here. Whoever he's choosing, we need to get here ASAP. But love and like, people, please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And we also want to say thanks to Irfan. He's been live for me for at least 3 hours. And also big up Franco. If any of you guys want to check out a tribute show, special tribute show, which we did at 8:30 today with Franco, who's a DJ and a musician, Brazilian. Go and check it out. He was lucky enough to see Pele play 4 or 5 times as a kid.
Yeah. He saw him he saw him at Maracanã and watched him in front of 200,000 people.
Beautiful.
Yeah. His dad took him when he was 5 years old. He knows Brazilian football. Like, I don't know anyone knows Brazilian football like he does.
Check that out as well. Go and check that out. But I want to thank. Let me just get off this and just say big up to Logan as well for all the quotes.
I will definitely check that out. I'll definitely watch that.
Get off this
episode.
Yeah. So big up. So I just go and check out. Listen, go and check out Aaron Pandy. Is it Aaron Pandy? What's their Twitter handle? Aaron
DVD1, or you will see me.
Yeah. So
replying to Nuruddin's comments on Twitter.
Oh yeah. That's why we are. We're from there. Yeah.
Listen, Aaron DVD1. Check him out on Twitter.
Bro, I've moved to new place, but in Manchester itself, near Cornbrook area, Cornbrook Station.
Yeah.
Near Trafford.
Trafford. Oh, okay. I know where that is. Yeah.
Not
far from you. It's not far from you, Nuruddin. Not that far.
He's moved. Yeah, I know he's moved. He's moved to this side. So big up, Aaron. We'll have to meet up for some food soon. And then Sean Thomas. Well, Sean Thomas, let the people know where your podcast is, brother. You do a political podcast.
Yeah, how we see things on wherever you get your podcast from. Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Yeah. How we see things. So go and check it out.
It's a political podcast.
Yeah, politics, social issues,
Of what? In the world or in Nigeria?
Yeah, in the world, in Nigeria, in the US, in the UK, you talk about all the whole lot, politics in general.
You found the right crowd over here.
Yeah.
Huh?
You have found the right crowd over here on this channel.
Oh, yeah, you definitely found the right crowd over here. I didn't know. I've got so many Nigerian friends who are deep into politics, but I follow them, but I always get the information about what's happening in Nigeria at the moment. Obviously, it's like a lot of places in the world, it's a mess. So I'm intrigued to hear it. I'm always intrigued to learn.
It's called How We See Things, yeah?
Okay, how we see
things.
Yeah, big up. And then Irfan Rainey on Twitter. A lot of politics, and then Irfan Rainey on Instagram music. So check it out, people. But Therapy Army, you've been fabulous tonight. You've been live over 3 hours.
Wow.
Absolutely. I need to get some food. So love and like, people. Big up to every one of you. Please smash a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Smash the notification button because it lets you know when we're next live. But just remember, it doesn't cost you a penny to smash a like on the video. And all it does is gets the algorithms up and it lets people know about the channel. So big up, peace, love and light. Sorry, I get passionate. Sean comes on here, triggers me. Deep down, he's laughing at me when I'm going crazy about how much the Glazers have ruined this football club. But it's all love. We do agree about Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag seems to be a competent manager. And may it continue. Love and light, people. Glazers out, bankers out. We have to see it to believe it. Peace. Take care.